Hi everyone, how is it going? And today we are going to learn how to build universal Android and iOS and web app using Expo React Native. So we will be follow along with reading the documentation of Expo official website. So let's get started building universal application with Expo and React Native and enhance our skill. So we have to go to this page, which is the Expo tutorial introduction. So, an introduction to a tutorial on how to build a universal app that runs on Android and iOS and the web using Expo. We are about to embark on a journey of building universal apps. In this tutorial, we will create an Expo app that runs on Android, iOS, and web. All the single code base. Let's get started. So about this project, what we will be building in this project, the objective of this tutorial is to get started with Expo and become familiar with the Expo SDK. It covers the following topics: create an app using the default template with TypeScript enabled, implement a two-screen bottom tabs layout with Expo router, break down the app layout and implement it with Flexbox. Use each platform using System UI to select an app from the media library. Create a sticker model using the model and flatlist component from React Native. Add touch gesture to interact with a sticker. Use third-party library to capture a screenshot and uh, save it to the disk. Handle platform difference between Android, iOS, and web. Finally, go through the process of configuring a status bar, a splash screen, and icon to complete the app. So, I have briefly introduced you the core concept of this project. In the last, we will be building up this project from the scratch. In this project, you can see that when we click on the button, we can select an image, we can crop the image, we can add sticker to our image, and we can also download our image to our gallery. So this is the core functionality which we are going to implement on our application. So stay tuned with me and I will be teaching all of the steps step by step. So without wasting time, we have to let's get started. However, if you need the whole code of this application, you will get from here. So how to use this tutorial? We believe learning by doing, so the tutorial emphasizes doing over explaining. You can follow along the journey building an app by creating the app from scratch. So I will be doing all this stuff on lab, so you can see how you can do it by yourself. So let's get started while clicking on this button towards our creating your first app. So now you can watch this video which is offered by the official website. However, we will be creating all this stuff from scratch while following these guidelines of documentation of Expo React Native. So here are prerequisite. We will need the following to get started. Expo Go install on a physical device. If you want to have the application experience on your mobile, then you have to go to your Play Store or any other store, App Store, and you have to install Expo Go application. So it will allow you to use the application while developing on your mobile. So also you need not just LTS version, you can install it from here by clicking on here to run our commands in terminal. So you also need a code editor, which for this tutorial I am using VS Code, and you can also install it from here. But feel free to use any other code editor if you want. But yeah, that is basically it, and we can move towards it easily. So first of all, what we need, initialize a new Expo app. For that, we don't have to do anything. We just have to copy this, and we have to open our command prompt by clicking on Windows button and click write CMD, which will open our command prompt. And what we have to do, we just have to go to CD desktop but feel free to do stuff by creating file if you want to, but I am using command prompt, so for that it's good to use command prompt as a developer. So just click OK and paste the stuff which we have copied earlier and just enter, and it will create our project on our screen, and we can move towards building our project step by step. So follow along with me and you will learn a lot of stuff, and we will be covering all the functionalities which is covered by this Expo React Native documentation. So we have to wait, and it will, when it will install, we will move forward. Now our application has been installed, and you can see the folder on our desktop which contain complete source code to start our application. So what we have to do, we are inside this folder. However, you can open the VS Code and drag and drop the folder inside the VS Code to develop our application further. But what I am doing, I just writing code dot, it will automatically open our project inside VS Code. So now you can see our project is inside VS Code, and we can follow along this after we have off this stuff, and we can move forward. So we have completed our first task, and the second task will be downloading the assets. So click on this, and it will give you some option, and I will choose home screen, and if I click yes, then it will save on the screen. You can see a folder on our screen which is just the basic asset folder, and we have to extract here, and you can see this is only the image. So what we have to do, we have to drag and drop the image inside the our folder, and I think we need to put this folder inside our asset folder. So yeah, that's basically, and we have to just delete this because we don't need it more, and we can move towards our next step, which is the third step, which is run reset project script. Why we are resetting our project? In this tutorial we will build our app from scratch, understand the fundamental of adding a file based navigation. Let's run the reset project script to remove the boiler code. So when we copy this command and paste in our terminal, what it will do, it will remove all the code which is created by Expo React Native, and we can start the project from scratch. So we will only have two files, one is the layout file and second is the main screen file. So all of the stuff we have to do from scratch. So you can see that a folder is created on the screen, just containing all the source code which Expo React Native has defaultly created for us in the beginning while creating our app. So now we only have two files inside our project. So let's move toward our next section, which is running the app on mobile and web. So for that, we have to copy this and just go to our terminal and paste it here. It will start our project, and we can access our project inside our browser. So for that, what we can do, we can go to localhost 8081 where our application will be live. So we have to detach these two screens so we can see the stuff side by side while building all this stuff with each other. So our terminal is displaying that if we want to run our application on web, then we have to go to localhost 8081. So where I already have visited for to look our application, where our application is starting. So now our application is still taking time, and you can see that after pasting our asset folder inside our application, our tab icon also changed to our Smash stickers icon. So now let's open the extension section, and we have to open the mobile simulator. Mobile simulator is an extension of Chrome which allow us to see our application, how is it looks on real device. So just make it full screen so we can see our application, and we can also see on our website that how is it look on different screen. On mobile screen it will look like this, on web screen it will look like this, and on Android screen it will look like this. So now let's edit our index screen, and the app directory contain index.tsx files define the text display on the app screen. It is the entry point of our app and execute when the development server starts. It uses core React Native components such as view, display, text to display background and text. So for that, what we have to do, we just have to uh, we have to copy this command, copy this, and let's put a code inside our application. So let's open our index.tsx, and from here what we can do, we can write here React Native style sheet, and we can remove all this stuff here from here. For that we need a background color to our container. Our container will be the name of a container, and it will contain the whole code, and also it will contain the background color. So let's fix it out, all this stuff, and you can see that an array is occurring here. So we have to import the style sheet from React Native. So if we go to our website, stuffs are not working properly, because why? We have to put a style here. The style will contain a styles.container name, which will make it able to uh, apply this style which we have declared in the bottom. So basically we are doing CSS here and doing HTML here, if you want to say that. So first of all, we have to give a name to our this text also, uh, about style, and the style will be the name of styles dot text, and the text will be uh, color as white. So for white we write hash triple F, so it will apply on our screen. And now we can see that we have successfully implemented our first suggestion of our Expo React Native official website, and we can move towards the next section. Before that, we can see that our how our application will looks like on different screen, on web screen, on mobile screen, and on iPhone, on Android screen. So summary of the section, chapter 1, create your first app. We have successfully created a new Expo project used React Native core components and are ready to develop our StickerSmash app. So click as complete, and we can move toward the next section. So in the next chapter, we will learn how to add a stack and a tab bar to our app. So let's click on the next section, and we will adding navigation to our application. So in the next section, here we are on the adding navigation section. In this chapter, learn how to add navigation to the Expo. In this chapter, you will learn Expo router fundamentals to create stack navigation and a bottom bar with two tabs. However, here is the suggestion to a video by the official Expo website, but we will be doing the stuff from ourselves. So follow along with me, and I will teach you how to add navigation to our application. So first of all, we have to add a new screen to the stack. So we have to create a new screen. Just copy this code for our new screen, which is the about.tsx screen. So go to our application, and here we have to create about.tsx and just paste the code here. And yeah, we have done the first stuff. And inside the layout, what we can do, add a stack.screen, and after adding the stack.screen, we have to add an options props to update the title of the about, and we also have to do this stuff. So we will be doing this stuff in the about section, in the layout section. So open the layout section, and what we have to do, we have to call an attribute which is the options, and inside the option, what we need a title. The title will be home, and the second will we just have to copy paste this again, and the second file name is about, and we have to give the renaming of this page also, screen also, for about. And yeah, we have done the second stuff. And what is stack? So if we look for what is stack, a stack navigator is the fundamental for navigating between different screens in an app. On Android, a stacked route animates on top of current screen. On iOS, a stack route animates from the right. Expo Router provides a stack component to create a navigation stack to add new routes. So navigates between screen. So for navigating between screen, what we need a link. So the link will allow us to go to different screen. If we talk about our first screen, this is our index screen. So right as home screen, and if you go to our application, we can see this tags. But when we add another stuff, like if we have to increase the and if we put another link tags, and the link tags contain the href. Before that, what we have to do, we have to import the link from Expo Router, and we need an attribute which is the href attribute, and the href attribute will letting us be where we have to redirect our screen, our tab. So I will be redirecting it on about, and if we write an about, then we can see that text is displaying on in the bottom as about. So if we click on this, then we go to about screen. You can see that. So we can do also for the about section, about screen. So for that we have about screen, and here we can add a link element, and the link element will be displaying home. When we click on this link, it will redirect us towards our home. So for home, we only use the slash button, slash tags. So when we click on this, we will redirect to our home, and we can switch between our home and our about section. However, this is not the right way to do navigation. We will be putting our navigation section in the bottom right soon. So if we go to our application, before that we have to decrease the screen size, and here we can see that how the stuff is working on official website also, and you can see how this section works on different mobile different screens. So on Android screen it looks like this, and on iOS screen it will looks like this, and on different screen it will look like this. So you can see that how it look like on different screens. Now it's time to add a not found route. So whenever we write a wrong route or the page doesn't exist, if we people go to that page, default page will be displayed on the screen. So for that we need this screen. So just copy this screen, and we have to create another screen in our app directory. which will be the name of plus and not found dot tsx, and we have to paste it here. So what it has done, so remove the stuff which is not required, and if we go to our application and if we put any wrong route like this, then the application has a default screen which we have created, and it will display on the screen that oops, not found, which is from here. We have write this stuff here. Oops, Spaqoo, this route doesn't exist. So you can do many stuff as you want. Then you can see that the text is updated on our screen also. So the how the not found screen works, you know that better now, and we can go to the home screen and build the stuff which is left. So close this tab and we can see the stuff here. So now if we see on different screens how is it looks. If we put any wrong route here like 123, the page will display that uh, oops, the page doesn't exist. So now for adding a navigation, our for now our app directory contain these files and our application structure is just like this, but we have to move towards this section, and we have to update some files in our application to just meet up this requirement, in which we have a layout and a not found page in the app directory directly. Inside that directory we need a tabs folder which will allow us to use navigation in our application, and this will contain a layout and index.tsx and about.tsx screens. So let's build it up. So for that, first of all, we have to create a folder of name as tabs, and inside these tabs we will be having these two stuff, and we also have to copy this layout and paste it the layout inside our this screen. So we have done a lots of stuff which you will not understand for now. You can see that we have three files in our tabs folder, and we have three files, two files in our apps directory, and also contain one folder of tabs. So we have to update our layout, which is inside our app directory. So we have to update this. Means while we have to remove it from here, and now we can see that it will be the mm, plus not found screen, found not found. You can see that how much I know English. Not found, and what we can do, we have to remove this stuff because we don't have any index file inside our app directory. We have an index file inside our tabs directory. So now it's rename this file to tabs, and yeah, we have completed our second stuff, and now inside the tabs we have another layout.tsx file. We have to edit this file also. So what we have to edit, we have to replace the stacks with the tabs component. So just copy the tabs and go to our tabs, and inside the tabs we have to replace the stack with our tabs. So I have select out all the stack on the screen by pressing Ctrl D. You can also do that and just paste it here tabs. If we do that on go to our screen, you can now able to see the tab bar in the bottom, and now we can go towards our different screen. So we have a tab stacks on the top because uh, in the main layout we don't have hide our header, so we have to header shown false, so it will uh, disable the header on the top. So yeah, we have successfully added our navigation in on our application, and let's update our navigation and add some icon in the navigation. So update bottom tab navigation appearance. For that, what we have to do, we have to uh, we just have to uh, copy these tags. For now, just copy these tags because uh, we are not we don't want to go become overwhelmed with the application. We will be doing all this stuff from scratch, and we will learn everything from scratch, and don't worry about if anything is not understandable. I will teach you out every stuff step by step. So just copy and paste it here, and I also will teach you how to change every code base and how to do the stuff from scratch. So don't worry, and just paste this stuff from here, and you can see nothing's happened. Why nothing is happening? Because what I think, we don't have installed the Expo vector icons. So open the terminal, and in the terminal uh, we have to paste the code here, like npm I, and let's install the vector icons, and we can see uh, the implementation of the code inside the layout.tsx file. So let's see. It has to be installed. It has installed, and if we go to our application now, you can see that two icons are appearing in the navigation section. So it just because of this code. And what is this code displaying? First of all, the code is changing the active color of each icons to this color. And if you go to bottom, we have a section here, we can change our tabs or icon. So I have used the iconic icons, and we can change the image, change the icon on the basis of focus. Means while when we click on the icon, it will change icon accordingly. So if we don't click the icon, it will be home outline. When we click on the icon, it will change to the home shop, and color will be also changeable, and it will be coming from here, I think. So you can customize the code and experiment this code to learn a lots of stuff from here. And I think it's also for apply for this section, and everything is understandable till now, and we will be learning a lot of stuff while developing this application. And now we just have to copy this. However, if you want to write the code from scratch from yourself, you can do also that, but for not taking too much time, I'm just copying this and teaching you how to do stuff to make stuff workable. So just paste it here, and it will change the background color of our tabs bar and our headers bar. So you can see the stuff here. Our header style contain a background color, and our tab bar style contain a background color here also. So the tint color is also here, and you can remove the code and you can implement whatever you want and customize the code to learn a lot from this project, and you will be understanding how Expo React Native exactly work and how you can do stuff by yourself. So now, if we see on different mobile screen or screens, you can see that on web we can see our application just like this. On iPhone we can see our application just like this, and on Android screen it will look like this. The summary of this section, the navigation section, is that we have added a navigation to our application. We have successfully added a stack and a tabs navigator to our application. So just click on the mark this chapter as read, and in this next chapter we will learn how to build the app's first screen. So we will meet in the next section. So now it's time to build our screen. In this tutorial, learn how to use components such as React Native, Pressable, and Expo image to build a screen. In this chapter, we will create the first screen of this StickerSmash app, and it will look like this. And you can also follow along this video, which is offered by the official website, but we are going to do the stuff by ourselves. So first of all, we have to break down the screen. So let's see what the screen contains and what we have to include inside our screen to build our first screen. So this is the home screen, and it contained some stuff like one image and two buttons. And if we divide the first button further, then we can see that there is a large image displayed at the center of the screen. There are two buttons in the bottom half of the screen, and this large button contains an icon and a text. So for displaying images using Expo, we have to install Expo image. So we can start building our project. So just copy this and go to our development, and here we have to open another terminal, and we just have to paste the code here. So it will install automatically. So while it's installing, let's look up on our project further, and the npx expo install command will install the library and add the project dependencies in the package.json. The image component tags the source of our image as its value. The source can be either a static asset or a URL. So you can use both a URL and a static image from your asset folder. So for importing an image, we have to import the image from Expo image library and create a placeholder variable. Use asset background images and background and image.png. So let's do it by ourselves. So if we go to our development, and in the first screen, what we have to do, we just have to include an image, and the image will be coming from Expo image. So you can see that there is the option, and we just have to click this. And after that, what we have to do, we have to create a placeholder. This placeholder will be having a requirement attribute, and the asset will be coming from the asset folder inside the images. However, we have to put at the red in the first, then it will be redirecting toward our image. So our first image is background image.png. So every stuff is from here. You can look out that here is the requirement placeholder image and requirement asset, and you can also copy this. If the code is not working, you can paste it here and it will work perfectly. So put the image before this, and we have to go to the image, and let's give the source, and also we have include a styles to our image. So we have to call the image in bottom, so we can edit our image as our requirement. So we have to put some height for our image. If we don't put any height, it will don't display on the screen. So in my case, the height will be 440, and the width will be 320. And if we go to our website, then application, then we can see that image is now displaying on our screen. And we have to do some further customization, like the border radius will be 18, and it will be looks good, and I think it's looking great. And We can include the other stuff like the container should contain uh, alignment of center, and we also have to include a container to our image. But in my case I'm not doing that because I don't think it's required, and we will do the stuff as much as it can be easier way. So divide components into files. For that, we have to create our first component, which will be the image viewer. So for the image viewer component, the code will be this, and we are going to create the whole code by ourselves, so we don't have to copy it from here. And what we are going to do, we are going to, first of all, we have to delete all the code which is unnecessary for us, because what I think, we have to do stuff by ourselves from scratch. So just select the stuff which doesn't require and just click delete. I'm doing this because every folder which we have required, we will be creating the folder from scratch. Then that's where we will be not getting overwhelmed while handling multiple folders. Now we know that the asset folder contains the asset related to our application, and the component will contain the component which we have creating, and the app directory contain the few files which we have created earlier. So here what we have to do, we have to write an image viewer.tsx, and we have to call the screen here. So now what we have to do, we just have to remove this code from here and paste it just here. And the other stuff we have to do, we just have to remove the code from here and go to our styles, and we have to paste it here. Let's customize it perfectly, and some stuffs are not working seems because we don't have imported the image. We have to import the image also. So now the placeholder is not working because it is not available on this component. So we have to pass out props from here, so it will be working. So the prop will be imgsourc, and the step which I am following is already on the documentation. So if you are following the documentation, which is the necessary thing, if you don't understand any step in this video, you can check out the documentation, and the documentation is exactly doing the stuff which I have done, like pasting the image style here, and also calling an image tag, and it will contain the style of image, and it also passing out props from here, and it will help us to use the props here on our component. So our component is image viewer, and we have to import here, and we have an attribute of image source, and the image source will be coming from the placeholder image. So if we go to our website, I think it should work. It's working now and it looks good, and we can move towards the next step. Since image viewer is a custom component, we are placing it in a separated directory instead of app directory. Every file inside app directory is either a layout file or a raw file. For more information, see the non-route files. So import the image viewer and use the inside the index.tsx, which we have already done and which we have followed. And what is the mean of at the rate in our coding? The at the rate symbol is a custom path alias for importing custom component and other modules instead of relative path. Expo CLI automatically configure it in tsconfig.js. So whenever we put at the rate, it means that we are just going directly to the file. So if you don't know the exact directory of the file, you just have to put at the rate and slash, then give the file name, and you will be redirected, or your image location will be redirected toward the exact location of the file. So now it's time to create a button using pressable. So for that we have to include another component, which is the button component. So let's go to our component section. We have to close this section, and let's create a button .tsx, and write the code for button.tsx. And what we need, we just you can do the stuff by yourself, but what I think, uh, it should be better if we do the stuff by ourselves and don't be overwhelmed. So let's give it some style, and let's first of all we have to call the button inside our index.tsx. So call a view, and inside the view we will be containing the buttons. So let's have two buttons, and if we go to our application on the web, here is button is not defined. Why the button is not defined? Because we are importing the button from here, not from anywhere else. And you can see that two buttons are displaying on our screen, but it looks awkward. We will style it further to make it better in look. So for that I can do the code from scratch, and you can also do that, but in my case I think we have to copy this code, because this code is just the code for our button, and we don't have to do style again and again. We have to make our tutorial as much as simpler to follow along. So this have contained some small coding. If you understand, then well and good. If you don't understand, then you can see the documentation further and you will learn a lot. So I'm not making you to just stick on one tutorial. You can learn more stuff while watching the whole. However, we can simplify this coding by removing the extra stuff which we don't require, which is auto completed by our compiler. And if we refresh, our buttons are not displaying on the screen. Why it is happening, I don't know, but let's figure out what's happening. So our buttons are not importing perfectly, I think. It's just because of this. We have to put const, and also what we have to do, we have to export default button. This is the customization which we have to do to remove the error which is displaying on our screen, like making it a arrow function. Now I think it will work. If it's still not working, then we have to do some more customization. So we are not copying all the components from the official website. For this, what I am doing, I am just copying this and pasting the code which is necessary for us, and also I am passing out here the label, and also I have to include the style for our this app. So that will be this, and we have to import the pressable from React Native, and I hope it will work, but still something is not working because we are not importing The button. Why it is happening, I don't know. The button is unable to import from the component section, and we are just missing out something, which making our stuff unable to display on the screen. So let's check it out. What is it and why it is making some error? So if we go to the index.tsx, uh, we are importing the button from the button component. So if we remove button section, and it is I don't have put it the text, that's why it's displaying an error. However, it's also occur when you are doing so. Feel free, because we have sometimes doing simple stuff more complexly, and you can see that we have two buttons, and now we just need two buttons, and we have to copy this code, which is actually displaying two different text. So first is displaying choose a photo, and second button is displaying use this photo. So these buttons are inside the container, which will contain some styles, like this style. We have to just paste it here, which is a footer container style, and it will containing a flex of 1/3 and alignment is center. Feel free to do the stuff by yourself and don't overwhelm. And I think if we remove any stuff, it will look perfect, but we just have to include this to make it just similar to our um, documentation application which we are following to create. So after that, you can see that how is it looks on web, and how is it look on iPhone and on Android. So the last step, I think we have to enhance the reusable buttons and component, and for that what we have to do, we have to introduce an icon to our buttons. So for that, what we have to do, uh, I will teach you how to do that. Basically, inside from our this component, we will be rendering two buttons at a time. Let's see how is it will work. Like we have to paste it here another theme, and what the theme will work. Theme is a condition. If we pass out any theme props from our index screen in our component, this first code will be executed. Like if the theme is primary, then we have to paste it here, and otherwise it will be this. Meanwhile, we need different tags, I think. So nothing happened, because for now nothing will be happening. But if we before that, we have to import an icon library from Expo React Native. For that, we have to paste the code in here. Before that, we have to write import, not import, npm install. I think npm install don't require. I think we have to. I think the stuff will be automatically done by our compiler, so we don't worry about the stuff. So what we have to do, we just have to copy this first section code, and just replace with this. And the font awesome is displaying error because it is where from it is importing. No suggestion is occurring, and we have to install this library to make the stuff working, because our npx expo, install, because our this icon is displaying error and it is not importing from any library, so we have to include the library inside our project. So we have to write npx expo install @expo vector. It will install this package inside our project and we will be able to access this icon inside our component. So it's installing our icon, and if we do further, we need what we need a style to our button icon only, and we have to paste it in the bottom, I think. And yeah, everything is working and we can now import. Still we can't import the stuff, so I think it's not suggesting, so we have to copy the import from here and just paste it here so it will work. Nothing is applying on our screen because we have to specify the theme for our each component. So I'm selecting the first one, then you can see that the style is totally changed for our first button, and this is just because of the customization which we have done earlier, like putting a condition that if the theme will be the primary, then this button will be applied, otherwise the default button is this. So I think we hopefully done this step, and we have done also by giving the theme to our first button, and stuff are looks good on different screens, like on web screen, on iPhone, on Android. So summary of this chapter is that we have built a screen. We have successfully implemented the initial design to start building our app first screen. Mark this chapter as read, and in the next chapter we will adding the functionality to pick an image from the device media library, and clicking on this section we will be going towards the upper next section. So let's go. So hey guys, in this section we will learn how to use image picker. In this tutorial, learn how to use Expo image picker. React Native provides built-in components as standard build blocks such as view, text, and pressable. We are building a feature to select an image from the device media gallery. This is not possible with the core component, and we will need a library to add the feature in our app, Expo image picker. So for that, we have to copy this and paste it in our terminal so it can be installed. So we have to paste it here, and now it's time to install our this package, which will allow us to use the Expo image picker feature. So wait while it's installing, and to any time we install a new library in our project, stop the development server by pressing Ctrl C in the terminal and then run the installation command. After the installation completes, we can start the development server again by running npx expo start from the SAM terminal window. So first we have done this installation. After that we have to do the stop our project, so our library will be recognized by our Expo project. So for that we have to do npx expo start again to start our development server, and to able to use the library which we have installed earlier. So our development environment is starting, Metro vulnerability is starting, and for now what we have to do, pick an image from the device media library. Now it's time to put some code inside our application to make the stuff functional. So for that we have to import the image picker from Expo image picker. We have to open the index, and from here we can import static means all, and is image picker from Expo image picker. Now next thing which we have to do, we have to put this code inside our function. So we don't have created any function, so what I think, we just have to copy this, and in the future, in the coming up minutes, I will be talking about why we are doing that, and it is just a two kind of function, so you can understand that what it is outputting, or what is the functionality behind these two functions. So just copy it and paste it below this index function. Meanwhile, we have to put before the return statement. So it is just talking about a function. We have created a async function which is declaring a variable of result, and it will be a wait function, a wait value, and it is coming from image picker, and it's also talking about a built-in function which is launch image library async, and it providing us two features like allow editing is true and quality is 1. So if the result is cancelled, then we have to have the result value inside our console.log. However, if we don't select any image, then we will get an alert of you did not select any image. So hopefully we have done this section, and now we can update the buttons component. So what we have to update in our buttons, we have to go here and just click on this, and here we have to pass another component which is a on press component, on press props. So props basically allow us to use the stuff which we want to implement on our component on other screens where we have used the component. So I have selected this both, and I'm removing the stuff which is unrequired and just passing out the on props on press prop. So it is passing from here. Meanwhile, we have props inside our on press function, on press attribute. So if we go to our here, and if we write here on press, then we will be able to use the on press props here. So we can put the pick image async here, which means that the function we have created earlier, we are passing here, and when we click on the button, this function will be called. So let's go towards our documentation and see further stuff. In the next section, they have just called the on press on the button component. So we have done it also, and we can see that when we select an image, what the image content means, while the whole structure of our JSON of our image will be just looks like this. This will contain some few information about the image, the height, width, and the file size and file name, and the URI of the image. So don't worry about this, because we don't need to know about this file system, and we are just implementing the functionality of image picking. So the next step, we have to use the second image. So for that, we have to include the use state from React. So for that, what we have to do, we have to create a use state which allow us to implement our new functionality of declaring the image, select image using the use state from the React. We will use this state variable to hold the URI of the selected image, update pick image async function to save the image URI in the selected image state variable. Pass the selected image as a props to the image viewer component. So what we have to do, we just have to declare a value and a function inside the, we basically need a use that stuff variables. So const selected image and then we need a use state, and we have to import it from React and just remove this. And what we need here, we need a string type. We have to put here undefined, and when we put undefined, it can cause some error, but we will tackle this in the coming up minutes. So they have included something more like string and undefined, but this is not meaningful for me, so that I'm not including that. Now it's time to update our function, and our function is below this useStat. I hope so, yes. And we have to remove this, and just have to select set image, and the wizard will be the acid index will be the 0 and dot URI. I think here is some error, and what is the error? Argument of string is not assigned to parameter of the set state action undefined, and that's why we need here another stuff, which is the string. Basically, we are declaring the data type of our use state variable. So here we have to put undefined, and after that we have to put this. I hopefully so it will work, and it's now not displaying any error. And it's time to update our image viewer component also. So here we can put select it. I think select it. It should be select spelling is not correct. Selected image is selected image, and it is I think displaying another error because the selected image is undefined. Why it's happening? However, we have done everything perfectly, but still it's displaying some errors. So don't worry, this will not cause any problem in our development. If we click on our this stuff, it is still displaying you press a button. I don't know, however, we have updated our button components, but still it's displaying the stuff which we have done earlier. It should be work as a image picker. It's not doing that stuff, but we will figure out why it is not working. So now we have to update our image viewer. Modify the component image viewer file to accept the selected image prop called image source. Pass image source as the value of the source props on the image component. So let's do it. So for that, before that, we have to try out our application is working or not. Now it's working, and we can see that if we pick any image, we can do that. But still our first image, which is displaying on our screen, not changing. So we also have to figure out why it is not working. And the image is picking by our application, but it's not displaying on the screen. So we will tackle this tab in the coming up minutes. So now we need another props inside our image viewer component, and here what we need, we have to put selected image prop, selected image prop, and we need a variable which will be a const image source. The image source will be the selected image, and if it is selected image, then it will be the selected image. If it's not, then it will be coming from the props. So we are going perfectly, and stuff are performing equally, and I hope it will work. If I click on this and now we pick the image, it's still not working. I don't know why it is not working. However, our application should work. And if we see that image source, image selected image, and URI image source, did I have put the name which we need? Oh, I think I have put another variable here, so I have to put it here. And img source, img source, and it should work now. But it's this time it's talking about our stuff is not working. So if I put here, put here, and put here, still something is not working. And let's figure out why it is not working. Identifier image source has been already declared. So meanwhile, what we have to do, um, our img source is already declared. Img source is already declared image. I have to put image here, image source. Sorry, I have done something wrong here. We don't need to update our this, and we have to put the image source here, and now it should work. You can see that we have clicked on the image this button, and when we select it, we can now able to change our image based on the selection of our image. So if I click on again, and if we select this, then now we are able to select our image, and we have successfully implemented the image picking feature on our application. So you can see that how easy it looks on different screens, like on browser, on mobile screen, Android screen, and on iPhone screen. So the image used for the example is in this tutorial were picked from Unsplash, not Unsplash. This is my personal picture, so you can get it from my assets section, but feel free to use your own picture because it will give you some motivation about you are building the stuff which you are looking for. And the chapter 4 is just about how to use an image picker. We have successfully added the functionality to pick an image from the device media library, so we have to check this section as mark this chapter as we have completed. And in the next chapter we will learn how to create an emoji picker model component. So in the next section we will be building an emoji picker component section model. So let's go towards the next. Create a model. In this tutorial, learn how to create a model from React Native to select an image. React Native provides a model component that presents content above the rest of your app. In the general model are used to draw user attention towards critical information or guide them to take action. For example, the third chapter, after pressing the button, we use alert to display some placeholder text. That's how a model display on overlay. So for that, first of all, we have to declare a state variable to show buttons. So for that, for declaring a state variables, we have to declare the state variable here, where we have done we have created another state variable here. So let's now create another state variable, which is the const app option, app option, I think app options, show app options, show app options. So I think it's not working properly. Show app option and set show app option to false. So after doing that, we have to make it true when the condition is true. And the first condition is true when we select an image. When we select an image, what should happen? This set app options should be true. So when we select an image, the model will be displayed on the screen. So after that, what we have to do, we have to make it conditional. Our button should be conditional. So let's do it. just remove all of this code and paste it here. As show app option is true, then what we have to do, uh, we just have to pass view from here, and if the image is not selected, then we will able to see the button. If the image is selected, we are not able to see these two buttons again. We will be having the section where we can select our emojis to smash on our images. So if we select an image from our media library, then we are not able to see the buttons again. In the bottom, we can now add the section of three buttons containing the button on which we can click, and the button will be giving us option of selecting emojis, and two buttons are just for reset and for other stuff. So let's see. So we have done it previously. We have give the on press props to our button.tsx. If you don't do that, you have to do that and go to your buttons component, and you have to do that. So here what I am talking about, we need three buttons. One button will be the reset button, and the second will be the adding the emoji button, and the third one is the saving the image button. So let's create our circle button, which is this button, and when we click on this button, some emoji will be displayed on our model, and we can select the emojis and we can smash the emojis on our screen. So we just have to copy this whole code. If you want to read out, you can see that it is just a pressable and it will contain an icon. So here we have to install a library of Expo vector icon. So we will do that also. That if it's working, then we don't have to do that. However, we have to install this. You have to compulsorily add this, install this library. I am I am displaying you what you have to do. First of all, we have to create a component which is the circle buttons button.tsx. We have to just paste it here, and I think it will work. And after that, what we need to merge icons button, and for that we will use this section, this component, where we have multiple. We have only a component code where we are rendering a pressable, and inside the pressable we are able to have two stuff, an icon and a text. So let's create another component which is the uh, icon button. You should give the name to the components is our documentation has suggested to us, like icon button. So it will make you able to understand the project more easy way. So you can do the stuff by yourself and you can experiment with lots of other functionalities. So go to our this section where we have done something cooler before, and just add the icon button here, and let's see what props are we are able to use here. So we are able to use here the icon, and the icon will be, I don't know what the icon is it, and for that we have to go here and we have to see we have to import the two components from the components, and we also have to create these three functions, which we will do that. And after that we have to give the name to our, I think we just have to copy this section, so we will be not overwhelming doing the stuff again and again, and you can understand what we are doing. And we have to import the circle component from the stuff. So lots of errors are displaying because the one thing which we have not copy it. This is the function which is required, and we have to just copy it and paste it before the return statement. If we do that, there will be fewer errors. And you can see that this component we have created, and this component has on press props, and it will be having a function of on reset. When we click on this button, it will reset our functionality on our screen. The second one will be adding the stickers, the circle button, and the third one will be saving our image. So it will contain on save image as in function, which we have declared here earlier, and we just have to copy the style to our this section also. So just copy it. However, you can do the stuff by yourself, but we know that what these stuff are doing on with our application. So this is just a CSS which is giving a position to our application, and bottom will be 80, and the options row will be aligned center, and the flex direction will be centralized. So these are the few styles over these two containers. So if we go to our application, and if we click on this button, and if we select this, then now we are able to see three buttons. This is the reset button. If we click on this, it will reset our project. However, the image is not changing, and we have to have the default image here when we click on the reset button. And when we click on this, we will be able to see the emojis available to stick on our this image, and we will be able to download this image. In the next coming up section, we will be implementing the functionality. Also, for now, we have to continue with what we have, and you can see that how is it look on different screens. So now it's time to create an emoji picker model. So in this section, what we have, we just having this component. This component is just pretty much a simple, and you can see that it contains a model which is just provided by our Expo React Native. I think no, it is not provided by there. The model is provided by React Native. It is a component of React Native, and you can read out this stuff, and everything is simple, like it containing some tags, it having the few stuff. So for making this tutorial easy to follow along, I'm just copying this section, but feel free to do the stuff by yourself so you will understand lots of terminologies. So I will be creating an emoji picker component. For that, click on the components container, and right here emoji picker.tsx. So just paste it here, and if you paste this here, and we will need this style to our emoji picker tsx. We have to replace this with our this stuff. Every code is on the documentation, so you don't worry about to copy any stuff. If you don't understand, you can do the stuff by yourself, and when any error occurs, you can copy the code from the official documentation, and you will be good to go. And now what we have done, we have to go to our screen. We have to create another state variable here. It is for the model, and we have to set it to false. So for that, we have to create a model state variable, which is model visible. So in the index section, we have to close all this stuff which is unnecessary for now, and here we have to declare another state variable, which is the model visible, and set it to false. So it will be false defaultly, but when we click on the sticker, it will be set to true. Meanwhile, when we click on the button, the circle button, when we click on that, the uh, the model will be appear on the screen, visible on the screen. So this code is pasting here. Why it is work? We have to copy these two functions and just have to update our uh, on sticker function, and we have to add another function which is on model plus. To we are setting it false. So if we go deeper on in our section, we need to copy this, and it is just a component, and it is having a prop which will uh, containing a function, and on clause the model will be clause. And yeah, it's pretty much simple. If you don't understand, then you should try it by yourself, by writing it by yourself. For now I think it will work, and we should make the tutorial as much as easy so every person can follow along. So it is just containing a component which we have created earlier, and it will contain some sort of code in the coming up minutes. So you can see that a model is displayed on our screen. So let's see when the model will be displayed on our screen. If we click on this and if we select an image, now we will be able to see these options. If we click on this button, then we are able to see a section where we have to have the emojis, and if we click on this we are able to close our model. So it is cool, and we are now adding more functionality to our this application. So in the fourth section we have to display emojis and emojis list. So for that, what we have to do, we have to create another component. Just copy this source code, and it is just doing some sort of small stuff, and just feel free to do all the code by yourself and you will be understanding. In my case, I know how the flat list works, how it will be horizontal, as I have created lots of tutorial on that. And I'm just taking on the demo how to create an app by simply, and for learning these terminologies you have to try out by yourself. I'm not making you to stick on my any particular tutorial. If you learn the stuff by yourself, then you will be able to grow rapidly, and you will be learning a lot of stuff because now you are able to read the documentation. So you will be free to build any project you want. Emojis list, we have to create a component in our project. So for that, click on the components folder. Here we have to have an emoji list list.tsx. So paste it here, and we have another list here. And what we have to do, uh, we have to have another state variable. So let's do that also. So let's let us complete this. So now we have pasted our this component code inside our this file, which is the emoji list. Now we can use this component inside our index file, so we will get some emojis when the models pop-ups. So for that, if you want to learn more about this component where many logics are used, like flat list. Flat list is a component above render all the images using the image component by the pressable. So you can explore all of these tags by yourself, but I think it's okay to be learning the stuff by yourself to learn the exact logic behind these things. So everything is just mentioned in the documentation, so you can follow along this documentation to do the stuff you really want to do. So now it's time to create another state variable. So for that, we have to come up on the top, and below this model visible state variable, we have to create another variable, state variable, which will be the big uh, pick emoji and set pick emoji, and it will be a string and it will be also undefined. It will be undefined and it's just same as it is in our documentation, just like this. Now it's time to include the emojis list. So the code we have done earlier, here we have to remove this comment, and here we can now use our emoji list, and yeah, and just close it, and it will contain some arguments like on select. On select, we will have to set the emoji, set pick emoji, and on close model, what the function will be on select model, on close model, it will be on model close function, which we have created earlier. So here is the thing which is making some error. That's talking about we don't have initialize its type. So go to on the top and we have to figure out what is not working. Uh, pick emoji, set pick emoji. Here all this stuff are working, but one thing is not working properly. But we will be figuring out why it is not working. So let's see, is it our code is working? So let's click on this button, and if we choose any image from here, so image is changing, and if we click on this, now we are able to see lots of emoji, and you can use these emojis, I think. But when we click on any emoji, the emoji is not coming up on the top of this image. So we have to fix it out, and we will also do it just by following this documentation. So let's go to the documentation, and if we see here, then on different screen the model which just looks like this. So let's do our step 5, which is the display the selected emoji. For that, what we have to do, we have to create another component which will be the emoji sticker component, and we have to copy this code, and you can do the code by yourself also by just watching this, and you will be learning how to create this type of component. But in my case, I am just copying this code to make our tutorial much more easy and understandable for every beginners and every professionals. So emoji sticker is the second last, I think, component which we are creating. So it will be emoji sticker.tsx. So just pass the code it had, and if we go over documentation, then we can see that we have to import this component here, and where we can select it, we can now put this emoji sticker here. So let's folder image, and we have to close this stuff which is not required for now, and below this component image viewer component, we have to call the pick emoji, and if emoji is selected, then emoji will be displayed on the screen. Otherwise, nothing will be displayed on the screen. This condition will be true if we click on any kind of emoji. The emoji will be show up on the top of the image we had. So you can see that this image we have picked earlier. So if we put this, then you can see that another image is on the top. If we reset, then it is not working properly, but the functionality we had it's working, and we will fix it out every stuff which is uh, not done yet. So for till now, our task was creating our model, and we have successfully created a model. And you can see that how does it look on different screens, like on browser, on Android screen, and on iPhone screen. So everywhere this is looks like it looks good. And if we put emoji, then you can see that emojis are coming up on the top of the images which we have in our screen. So the chapter 5, this was the chapter 5, and we have successfully created the emoji picker model and implemented the logic to select an emoji and display it over the image. So mark as read as we have completed. In the next chapter, we will add user interaction with gesture to drag the emoji and scale the size by tapping it. So let's go towards the next section of our StickerSmash tutorial. Add gesture to our application. In this tutorial, learn how to implement gesture from React Native Gesture Handler and Reanimate library. Gestures are a good way to provide an initiative user experience in app. The React Native Gesture Handler library provides a built-in React Native component that can handle gesture. It recognizes pen top, rotation, and other gestures using the platform native touch handling system. In this chapter, we will add two different gestures using the library. So the double tap to scale the size of the emoji sticker and reduce the scale when double click tap again, and pen to move the emoji sticker around the screen so that the user can place the sticker anywhere on the image. So you can watch this video also if you want, but in this tutorial we will be doing the stuff by ourselves. So first step which we have to do is adding the gesture handler root view. So for adding this stuff, we have to go to tabs directory. In that tab directory, we have to open the index.tsx file. So we can import the React Native gesture handler root view. Gesture handler root view we have to put before everything. So let's go to our application and go to the app directory. Inside the app directory, we have to open the tabs and open the index.tsx. So we have to replace this view which is containing all the stuff inside our index.tsx. So we have to change this with gesture. If I'm able to have this code, I think we have to copy this and if I open this and just paste it here, and I have to I can copy this and paste it in the last to close the stack. However, we have to import this view from, there is no suggestion, but if we copy this code to import our this element, which is the gesture handler root element, we have to paste it here. If we do that, it should work and it should not display any error. But if we refresh our application, still that is talking about the gesture handler root view is not defined. So what we can do for that, to get the gesture introduction to app will render gesture React Native top component, replace the root view with the, we have done that, but it is still not working. And I think it is just because we have to copy this and we have to install this library also to include the root view, gesture root view inside our application. So I think we don't have to install because it is already included. When I refresh the application is now working, and if we click on anything and if we select any image and if we click on this and if we double tap on the this, then now we are not able to do the stuff, but we have just wrap up our application inside the gesture handler root view. Now we have to follow the second step, which is use animated component. So for adding animation to our component, we have to open the emoji sticker.tsx file in the component directory. Inside, import animate from the React Native reanimate library. Use animated component. So for that, we have to go to the emoji sticker.tsx. Now it's time to go towards the emoji sticker.tsx. This is the component, and now we have to import another stuff for that. So we have to put just animated dot. If we come here and we are able to import it from React Native reanimate, and just click on this, and if we refresh the element, it's working and every stuff is on the line. And what I think, it's working perfectly. And here is another attribute, which is the resize mode to contain. We also have to include that, so we will be doing that stuff also. Resize mode is equal to contain, and if we do that, still all the things are working perfectly. So for a complete reference of animated component API, see React Native reanimate documentation from here. Now it's time to go towards the next step, which is adding a tab gesture. Let's import gesture and gesture detector from React Native gesture handler. So first of all, we have to do that, and after that we have to recognize the tab on the sticker, import, use animated style and share value and all of the other stuff. We will be doing all this stuff from here. So you can see that we are doing lots of stuff. So we just have to copy this stuff, import this stuff which is required, and put in below this application, below this imports, and here it is displaying error because we have already imported, so I have to remove it and it will work. And after that, what we have to do, I think everything is just similar to our application. And here is another stuff. I think we have to copy this line, and after copying we have to paste it here, scale image, and create a shared view value using the use shared values hook. How many advantages it help to mutate data and run animated stuff. All of this stuff you can read, and we are just implementing the stuff which is required. So create the following object in the emoji sticker component. So for that we just have to copy this, and it is just doing the stuff which is required to scale up and scale down of our emojis. So this is the stuff which is required to do that thing. And if you want to read out more of these things, you can read out by yourself. In this you can see that image scale value is depending on image size. So whenever any person double click on this image, this sticker, the scale of this sticker will be increased, and it will be also decrease when again the user tap on the sticker. So what we can do, after that we have to put this code after this. I think if we put the code here, and now we have to create an image style variable and add it to emoji sticker component. So use animated style, and I think we have to put this code after this. And emoji sticker, it is not implementing because we have to include inside our this function which is importing which is creating this emoji sticker. So if I do that in the next work, the component using just a detector and style the proper, all of the stuff we will be doing, and you can see that we have just done the stuff is the requirement. We have put this line of code which is the scaling the image, and after that we have will also include this function which is for resizing our image sticker, and after that we also included this variable which is the image style variable, and it is equal to use animate style, so it will be styling element. And after that we have to include this gesture detector, and for that we have to do that, we have to wrap up our animate inside that, and we have to remove it from here, and we have to paste it here. So if we do that, our application is not now working. So you can see that how is it look on different screens, like on browsers, on Android screen, and on iPhone. So if I go to our on screen, if I click on an image and select an image and select an emoji, now I think we will be able to do the stuff. I can't do it because this is the browser view and I don't have the ability to do that. So if you are using Android or iPhone simulator, you can do that just like this. So I think we have to double tap on this, but in my case it's not working just because of I'm using a freemium extension which doesn't allow any features. So in your case it will be working 100% because you can see that how it's work on Android screen and on iOS screens. So for a complete reference, you can go to the API, gesture API, see the React Native gesture handler. Now it's time to do the last step, which is adding a pan gesture. To recognize a dragging gesture on the sticker and to track its movement, we will use a pan gesture in the component emoji sticker.asx. Create two new shared value, translate x and translate y, replace view with the animated view, and we in the component. So we have to include two stuff to fix it out our sticker location. So for that, below this image scale image, we have to include these two variables, which is the translate x and translate y axis, and we also have to wrap up our view component inside an animated dot, and we have to also wrap up the last closing tag by doing this. And I think we hopefully we have done the stuff which is required, and the last thing which we have to do is to create a drag object to handle the pan gesture and change click back accept event as a parameter. Change x and change y property hold the change in the position since the last event, and the update the value store in the translate x and translate y. Define the container style object using the used animate style and hook it with the return an array of transform. For the animated view component, we need to set the transform property to the translate and translate y values. This will change the sticker position when the gesture is active. So for do that, we have to have another stuff, and we have to just copy this, and after this we have to paste it here. If we do that, our application will work perfectly, and we have to see the other stuff. use update the emoji sticker component, so the gesture detector component becomes the top level component. Add the container style on the animated view component to apply the transform style. So for doing that, we have to wrap up our component inside a gesture detector. We have to put it here, and after that we also need a closing tag of gesture detector, which is closing our whole component. It gives the ability to drag our stuff, and we have to copy this code because now we are not just doing style, we are also doing container style. So it will be work perfectly. If we see on different screens, then you can see that how is it looks on Android and iOS and on website. And we have implemented the draggable feature to our application, and we are now able to resize our sticker. And if we look on our own application, we are now able to drag our sticker where we want. If I put here, it is also working. And yeah, that's basically it for this tutorial, this section. And in this section, the summary is that we have added a gesture, we have successfully implemented a pan and top gestures, and just click on this to make it this chapter as read. And in the next chapter, we will learn how to take a screenshot of the image and the sticker and save it to our device library. So let's do that. So in this section, we are going to take a screenshot of the image which we have done with the StickerSmash. So for that, in this tutorial, learn how to capture a screenshot using third-party library and Expo Media Library. In this chapter, we will learn how to take a screenshot using third-party library and save it on the device media library. We will use React Native View Shoot to take a screenshot and Expo Media Library to save an image on device media library. So far, we have used third-party libraries such as React Native Gesture Handler and React Native Reanimate. We can find hundreds of other third-party libraries on the React Native directory. You can also follow along this video, but we are going to do the stuff by ourselves. So first step for us is the installation of the library. To install React Native View Shoot and Expo Media Library, run the following commands. So we have to just copy this command and open our terminal, and after that we have to open another terminal and paste it here and just click install. However, it takes some time, so we can move toward the further second step, which is the prompt for permission. An app that requires sensitive information such as accessing device media library has to prompt permission to allow the DANI access. So in this section, we will be using a function to get the permission to access the media library of any device which we are going to use in this application. So our application is installed, so we can our libraries has been installed, so we can move toward this second step and we can add the required code to customize our app further. So first of all, we have to import the media library from React Expo Media Library. So for that, we have to go to tabs, and inside the tabs we have to open the index.tsx. So let's go on the top and we have to import. Before that, we have to have import, and static is media library from Expo Media Library. So after that, we have to create a status, and we just have to copy this, and after this index we have to paste this line of code, which is just taking a permission from the device to access the media library, so we can save our image into our media. So we have to put this code also, and we can paste the code in the bottom if you want to, but I think it's better to paste the code after this. It will be more meaningful that we are just accessing this variable, state variable. So if we refresh our application, nothing will apply because we just have done the code for getting a permission from the user. Now it's time to add the third thing, which is creating a ref to save the current view. So let's do the third stuff, which is for that we have to import the capture ref from React Native View show, and use ref from React. Create an image reference variable to store the reference of the screenshot image. Capture wrap the image viewer and emoji sticker component inside the view, and then pass the reference variable to int. So for that we have to have an image ref from React Native View shoot. So let's have that const image ref is equal to use image ref. I think this is not required, and we can just import it from uh, image ref is coming from this library. So we have to copy this library and paste it in the top. So it is still displaying some error. However, why it is displaying error? Because we have to import it from React and it is coming from React. So yeah, we have done the stuff, and now it's time to wrap up our image viewer component inside a view, which is just this, and it is passing out an attribute which is collapse will be false, and we will learn why we are using the ref, why we are using the collapse and other stuff. So for now what we have to do, we have to wrap up all the code inside this, and something is I'm confusing with that, but if I put the code here, so we also have to close the tag here. I hope so it will work. Yeah, it's in the above code snippet, the collapsible prop is set to false. This allows the view component to screenshot only of the background image and a emoji sticker. So now it's time to capture a screenshot and save it. We can capture a screenshot of the view by calling the capture ref method from the React Native View shoot. Inside the onSaveImage async function, it accepts an optional argument where we can pass the width and height of the screenshot capturing the area. We can read more about the variable options in the library's documentation. The capture ref method also returns a promise that fulfilled with the screenshot URI. We will pass the URI as a parameter media library dot save to media async and save the screenshot the device media library. So for that we have to include the onSaveImage async function to this code. So the code we have already here, we have to just paste the functional code from here, which is just calling the function to save the image to our media. So it is a try and wait function. You can see that try and catch, and here we are capturing our image and we are saving the image to our local storage. So this is the only function we have to update, and if we look towards the implementation, you can see that if we save the image, now it's functional and it is now saving to our media. And if we do on the iOS, it is also saving the image inside the gallery. So on the implementation we can see that, but if we do with our device, if we click on this button and select any random image from our media, and if we put any emoji on our emoji top on our image and try to save, it should work. It is not working on my device uh, just because of I'm using the web version. But if you are using the mobile simulator or mobile, then this will work perfectly. And if we go to our asset folder to see is it working or not, then we can see that the actual stuff happening or not. I think it is not working on my device, but on your device it will work perfectly. Just because it's not working on web version, it doesn't mean that it will not work on mobile. It is just the mobile code, so it will perfectly work on iOS and Android applications, but it is still not working on web version. So yeah, that's not the main point. We have implemented the functionality and we know how to save an image and how to take a screenshot and how to do the stuff with our application. So the summary of this section is that we have implemented the functionality of taking a screenshot on our application. We have successfully used React Native View Shoot in Expo Media Library to capture a screenshot and save it on the device library. So mark this section as we have completed, and in the next chapter, let's learn how to handle the difference between mobile and web platform to implement the same functionality on web. However, we are figuring out some trouble with web. So in the next section, we will fix it out this error. So let's go. Section we have to handle platform difference. Meanwhile, in the previous section we have implemented take a screenshot feature to our application, but it is not working on web. So we are going to fix it out in this tutorial. Learn how to handle platform difference between native and web when creating a universal app. Android, iOS, and the web app has different capability. In our case, both Android and iOS can capture a screenshot with the React Native View Shoot library. However, web browser cannot. In this tutorial, you will learn how to handle capturing screenshot for web browser, so our application has the same functionality on all the platforms. So you can also watch this video to make this stuff functional, but we are doing the stuff by ourselves. So let's get started with the step 1. Install and import DOM2 image. To capture a screenshot on the web and save it as an image, we will use a third-party library which is DOM2 image. It takes a screenshot of any DOM nodes and turn it into vector svg, raster, png, or png. Stop the development server and run the following commands to install the library. So we have to copy this and paste it in our terminal. So let's stop our browser terminal and just paste the code here. So it will install this package which will allow us to use screenshot functionality to our application on web browser also. So after installing it, make sure to restart the development server and press W on the terminal. So when it completely installed, we have to start our development and server, and we have to add platform specific code. So we will do the second step now, and we have to clear and write npx expo start. It will start our development server, and also we have to refresh our this when the stuff is installed and our development server is starting now, and we have to refresh it, and it will be refreshed when we need. So let's explore more things. However, the stuff is uh, starting. Our development server is starting now, and for that, first step is to import the platform module from React Native. Second, we will be importing the DOM to image library from DOM to image, and let's update on SAP image async function to check whether the current platform is web with the platform.iOS OS property. Let's web will use the DOM image to PNG JPEG method to convert capture the image view, and it will do the other stuff. So let's do it. And our development server has been refreshed and it has been started. So let's add these few codes to make our stuff functional on a website also. So for that, we just have to wrap up all this code inside this code. So let's copy it to don't be overwhelmed, and just copy it, and we have to refresh, replace with the code which we have already. So where we have the code, we know that this code is here, and we just have to replace this code with the code which we have copied. And platform, I think platform is not being imported from the given platform, so we have to import it manually. Just press Ctrl and spacebar, and it will be imported from React Native. And the other stuff which is displaying some error, which is the DOM to image, also we have to press Ctrl space, and it is not displaying any suggestion, so we have to just copy this import and paste it on the top of our stuff where we are importing lots of other libraries. So DOM to image is still displaying some error, could not find the declared DOM to image module. I think it's making some error, so let's see if it is working or not. If it is not working, we will stop the development server and we will restart our project. So for that, let's go, and we don't have to refresh anything because we only have to update this code. And if we look on the step which we have implemented, then you can see that when we click on the button on browser, it will change the image, and we can also use emoji, and if we click on download, the image is now downloading. So yeah, this functionality we have implemented. So let's check it out, it is working or not on web browser. So if we choose any image from here and add any sticker we want, so if we click on this, it is still not working. It is just because I think this library is not being installed properly. So let's copy it and stop the development server and clear the development server and paste npx expo install. I don't think it is coming from expo, so let's put directly npm install and it will be npm, not npx. So let's see how it will work, and I think it should work now, and we have done the requirement code and everything is looking perfect and every functionality is now okay, I think. So hopefully it will work now. DOM to image. If we see, we have to start our development server by writing expo start, and it should work now, and hopefully we are waiting. And yeah, we have done a lot of stuff by just following the documentation, and documentation is the great way to learn anything. And don't be overwhelmed by the tutorial help. That's why I am making the video while watching the documentation to teach you how to follow documentation to learn anything you want. So I think it's start the development server, and if we refresh the app, which is the web app, it is taking some time. Let's see how is it look when it refresh. Till now we have to wait for it. So everything is working. Our application is now refreshed, and let's see, is it working or not. Let's select it. Let's add any emoji we want and click on save. And the save button is not working. I don't know, but I think we know that we have implemented all this stuff from ourselves, and we know what is going on in the project, so we can now copy the whole code from here and just paste it here. I hope so it will work perfectly, and it will don't show any error in the application. So hopefully everything should work, and if we click on this and just select an image and paste an emoji, then, and if we click on this, it is still not working, and it's just because this library is not working perfectly. So this type of error can be occur with you, and that's why I'm displaying this video. I'm including this section to teach you why it is important to learn lots of other stuff. You can copy this code from here, which our code editor also suggests for us. So let's undo the paste of code here and go to our terminal and open another option and paste it here. And if we install now, I hope it will work, and if it's work, then you will learn a new thing that when any stuff is not working, then you have to follow the instruction which the code editor which you are using suggest. So now you can see that our stuff is not showing any error, and hopefully when we click on our application and we will select any image and put any emoji on the top of our image, and when we click on the save, it should download, but still the error is happening. So I am copying this code and just pasting here, because we know all the stuff we have done here. And if we refresh and if we click on this and select an image, put an emoji and click on the download button, it's again displaying some error. But I will fix it out in the next section, and I think we have done the functionality. This is just because some error happening by my computer. It doesn't mean that it will not work on your computer. It will work, and it will work perfectly. So in the next section I will fix it out this stuff also. However, if you are using the browser, now you are able to download the image also. So let's move toward the last step of this section, which is the summary. So we have completed the chapter 8 and handle platform difference, and we know we have implemented everything we set out for it to do. So it's time to shift our focus toward the purely aesthetic. So let's click on this as read, and in the next chapter we will customize the app status bar, splash screen and icon. So let's go towards the next section of this tutorial, and which will be the second last or the last section. So hopefully you will understand a lots of stuff. If anything is remaining, then just comment below and I will be guiding you throughout the process. So thank you for watching and thank you. Let's go towards the next section. We will be configuring status bar, splash screen, and app icon. In this tutorial, learn the basic of how to configure a status bar, splash screen, and icons. So we will be addressing some app details before deploying our app to App Store, such as theming the status bar and adding a splash screen and customizing the app icon. However, you can follow along this video also, but we will be doing stuff from scratch. Then follow along with me while I'm doing the stuff directly from the documentation. So first step is the configure the status bar. So for that, we have to first import the status bar style from the Expo status bar and use effect from React. Second, we will be using the use effect hook to set the status bar style light when the app loads. So for that, we just have to copy these two stuff and we have to go to app layout, which is direct to the app directory, not the tabs bar layout. We have to go to here and paste the code here, and after that we just have to copy this code to use the use effect hook in our application. So we just have to paste it here and everything will be working. Let's look at the new app on the Android and iOS. However, this functionality is only display on the uh, only apply on the Android and iOS iOS screen. It's not apply on web screen, but we have to customize it as our documentation give us the suggestion to do that. So now we have to add a splash screen, which will be displayed whenever we refresh our application. So it will look like something like this on Android and on iOS. When we refresh our screen, it will be displaying. So in the app loading too quick, we have to go at the splash screen, and splash screen is just the stuff which is required, and for that we have to install another package which is the Expo splash screen, and for that we have to go to our terminal and paste the code in here to install our splash screen from the terminal. So I hope it will be installed. However, we have to look at something else, which is adding the code to app layout, and for that we just have to copy this from here, and I think we have to just copy and go to the app layout and paste it here. If we do that, it will work, and don't forget to remove the code when you are doing test your splash screen. So when we do any test to check out our application, we have to remove this code, but for now it will be working. And now it's time to create, and we have to create a file which is app.json. So just copy it. We have to paste the code inside the app.json. It is already here, and we have to replace it with the splash screen code. So just paste it here. If we do that, it's displaying some errors, so we only have to copy the code from here, the specific code which is required for us, which is this, and we just have to replace this with this. And if we do that, it will work, and the background color value will be the same as we have. And now inside the project there is an icon.png. In the directory there is an icon, and we have to use this on the splash screen. But for now I think everything is okay and everything is working perfectly. And if we refresh our application, if we refresh, then you can see you are not seeing the splash screen because splash screen is not working on web application. So summarization of this tutorial is that it is the chapter 9. It is the final tutorial we have in this section, and we have configure status bar, we have use splash screen and app icons, and well done, we build an app that's run on Android and iOS, and the web from the some codebase. So the next section of the tutorial will be the guiding the resources and about concept we have covered here, and other we have mentioned briefly. So the last section will be the learning the resources section, which I don't will be teaching you because you have to read out as you have follow my tutorial. You are now able to read the last section, which is not the mandatory, but it will be helpful if you are more interested about building this type of application than you can do by just following this learning resources section. So thank you for watching. Great to see you here, and let's see the demo of our application from scratch and see how it's built up.